Take two.
Alright. So that was like way too long. Like way. So I'm recording again. Alright. You know, we gotta check it out. And I don't like, okay, so one side of my hair is pinned up, and I'm gonna explain why, but I didn't like the side, like that you can see that side that's pinned that much. So we're gonna hope this is not messed up. So the past couple weeks I've been going through this process with PennDOT because my New York license expired 2 years ago and I just let it rock. And recently I acquired a car and I needed to do tags, all that stuff. So I had to go back and get it. But basically I had to start from scratch in PA. Scratch meaning I had to do everything. So I take my written test. This is like a month ago now. Got 100. Alright, call that day, schedule my test. First test was at Leverick in PA. Do the whole test, Mind you, I have no qualms, no whatever about driving. I didn't study, I didn't whatever. You know, I've been driving all these years, you know, which is more than 10 years now at this point. So, I take this test, get all the way to the end, and she was like, well, you took me on a very nice ride. She said, but you didn't pass. I said, well, why not? Look at her. So she draws this picture. Y'all really can't see it on here, but she's like this. She's like, on the stop signs, you did this one right, but on the course, you're supposed to stop here. You stopped here. When I tell you, it was like a milli point inside the line, and I was like, she was like, you have to stop. Your bumper has to be outside the first line. And I was like, wow. So she was like, have you ever taken it before? And I was like, actually, yeah, I had my license from New York, but I let it expire. And now I got, I got a car here and I need to, do all the stuff. So, I'm having to do it here. She was like, oh, okay, well, don't worry about it. It's your first time. You didn't know what to expect. Call the line, ask for a cancellation, schedule again real soon. All right, no problem, Emily. That's exactly what I did. I called. Next day, appointment, Granite Run Mall. Now, Leverick uses cones for their parallel park space. Granite Run uses the big orange cones that you might see on the highway, like the big round ones that block off a lane to mark their parking spot. And they always make you parallel park first. Go there, go, it's 10:30 in the morning. They do this check thing before, like, windshield wipers, hit the brake, all this stuff, extra, whatever. Go to parallel park. The parallel parking instructions are 3 times in, 3 times out. Do not go over the curb and do not hit the cones. I pride myself in my parallel park. I can parallel park on both sides in the rain, on a hill, in a monsoon. I can parallel park. So I'm parallel park. I get up in this spot. Right now it's bigger. You have to remember that it's the big cones. So it definitely, what I feel, was a wider spot. So I'm in there, I go 2 times in, whatever, I'm in the spot. Parks. She's like, I can still see the 3rd cone. And I was like, you didn't say you couldn't see the cones. You didn't say cover the cones. You said 3 times in, 3 times out, don't touch the curb. Like, so she was like, no, you're too far from the curb. I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah. So now I failed the road test in Pennsylvania twice. So then I was agitated because in the meantime, I had already gotten insurance and tags and registration on the car and I was driving it actively. So every time this happened, I'm thinking to myself, y'all know I'm about to go get my car and drive. Like, I'm about to go drop Xavier off somewhere. Like, y'all need to stop playing with me. So I'm agitated too because I had 3 weeks to get them a PA license rather, on file, or my insurance expired. So, call cancellation. As soon as I could get was March 3rd, Island Avenue. I tried to get something before, it didn't work. So yesterday, go. Island Avenue. Get in line. There was somebody who was in front of me, but his license literally looked like it was in his butt cheeks. Like, it looked like it was under his arm for 4 days. And then he pulled it out. It was mad limp, and it was ripped. So the guy who came out, the tester, was like, nah, you gotta go inside and get another one. I need to be able to write on it. This is a mess. Like, nah. So he had to go do that. He's like, you don't have to wait in line. You can come back. So then he comes to me. So he comes over, he's talking, and my girlfriend was asking him about switching her license over because she doesn't have a PAID either. And he's giving us information, he's talking, and at one point, I look at him and I'm thinking to myself, he's going to fail me. So I'm like, Kurt, just chill, whatever, but I'm anxious because I'm March 3rd is the day. That was the last day I had to get a driver's license on file before my insurance expired. Alright, he gets in the car, he's talking about how he's been a truck driver 20 years, and and he was just doing a CDL test, and So finally we start. We go, and they, Island Avenue, they bring you around the building, to the back, to the side, and then you parallel park. So, when I got in the spot, sometimes you parallel park and you're like, okay, I could come out a little bit to angle myself back in to make it faster, or I could swing it in and then edge it, go up as far as possible and then swing myself back. So it was that. I was thinking to myself, which one? And it was the first one, so I'm thinking to myself, all right, which one? I'm like, 3 times in, 3 times out. I've only used one. Should I go back out or should I just put it in? And it wasn't too far. Like, usually if I'm too far to swing it in, I just go back out. So I was like, you know what? It wasn't too far. I said, all right, I'm swinging it. So I swings it in. It wasn't too bad. Pulls it up, then, backs it up, straightening it in. 2 times in, park. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Allen. He comes out. Right on Island Avenue, right on Elmont, left at that stop sign, left back on Island Avenue, left back into the testing place, park. So he's talking, and I'm thinking to myself, like, while he's talking, I'm, like, getting nervous because he's talking. I'm like, is he about to be like Emily, like, oh, that was great, but you failed. So he's talking, so he's like, well, and mind you, at the time, I started sweating, like, literally sweating, like, I had to wipe my brow, like, because I'm like, so that's how my hair got a little puffy. We got one side up today, because I'm going to go back in and let me get it right, because there's no reason for it to be a little puff back here. But, I'm sitting there, like, sweating, like, no, you just going to keep still talking about the road? So finally he was like, well, you have no points. And I was like, is that good? And he was like, oh yeah, that's like getting 100. I said, oh, thank you. So we go in, he proceeds to give me the paperwork. I end up getting my temporary, I got the PA license, which, sidebar, state of Pennsylvania, let me help you out on this budget. A temporary license is completely unnecessary because it's only good for 30 days. It has this big temporary across it, and you're going to mail me one in 30 days. Why don't you just cut that out? Why don't you just staple something onto the permit, or just give you a card or a piece of paper? I'm sure you're wasting good resources printing that stupid card that has the big temporary across the front. At any rate, I digress. So I get this, then I had to go straight up to 5th and Huntington, really, Erie, whatever it was, because that's where I got my insurance, to give her a copy of my license so that she could get into the insurance company so that my insurance would not be canceled. So I'm glad the ordeal is over. I cannot believe that I actually failed a PA road test twice before I got it. I had to take that bad boy 3 times. It was a little ridiculous. But all's well that ends well.